Hello again, visitors. I see you took my advice. Very funny. Well, as you know, today's little excursion into the lore tower is magic. A subject I very much like to do, as you can see by my little magical or my prepared spell. So here we go. Into the lore tower we go. And I just teleportation to the third floor. Oh no. Igor!
Yes. What?
Why are there foxes everywhere? Is this your doing?
No.
Well, you know what? You can join me and our visitors for this excursion and just listen about magic, as you can see it by the floor, or by this floor of the lore tower. Anyway, it seems this floor actually takes from actual books on the forms of magic in this world from the normal world. Well, owned by that being physical, which I recognize the book as Physical Magic by Hans No More. Art of the Age is by Fantasia Vexel with Spirit Magic. Arcane Volition by Cormac Hayden. And a book that I don't exactly recognize. Should be an interesting read. Anyway, to Physical Magic by Hans No More. Physical magic is magic that, through the power of mana, allows a user to manipulate the physical world around them to a degree. This could range from freezing a glass of water to changing the weather. The most common form of physical magic is elemental magic. Magic that focuses on the power of the elements, such as earth, water, fire, air, and lightning. This works by using magic energy to manipulate them to a caster's needs. Most people can only use one form of physical magic, if at all. This is odd in a way, as physical magic is the most known category of magic, in contrast with spirit magic, which few know, but quite a few can use. Physical magi are known to be a motley crew of people, as the different forms and types of magic they use can vary greatly, making them all somewhat of a mismatch in comparison to other magi. Like, what was that movie again, Igor? Something about breakfast. The glory of seeing into the future with the power of the lore tower. Anyway, magical academies tend to shun the use of physical magic on their grounds or in populated areas. As the category, ignore the lore tower's botching of drawing upon the words and such of others. As the category is notoriously destructive and dangerous for both caster and target due to the sheer power of some magi and the toll it can take. Few spirits are known to use physical magic, for it is against their nature. But those who do say they've learned from Earthendroth, Corain, Feroz, and Zephyra. Oh, my mistress. So long. Or someone who learned from them. Most mortals who come into contact with the spirits write this off as nonsense, for most in this day and age have no knowledge of the United Spirits. I remember Hans. He was an odd one. Then again, he did lose his hands in a tragic accident. Why are your foxes on my book?
They do that.
You are adorable. But go. This can lead to conflicts between believers and those who don't. The glory of heresy, as it is complicated to say whether or not a spirit exists without definitive proof. Plus, they've been dormant since my time, so it's kind of hard. It's so hard getting you to believe me, actually, Igor. I remember it very well. Anyway, Switch, I still am very annoyed that you somehow found a way into a world that is outside of time. How? You're a werefox, not An abomination at most. Oh, and yet somehow you got in here. Are you still getting here now? Please, as shown by now. Anyway. Physical magic can be generally broken down into two forms, elemental and transmutation. For knowledge on elemental magic, refer to page 2. Transmutation magic is the art of using magic energy to alter something's physical form. This can be anything from changing water into steam or ice to turning a helmet into a teacup. Physical magic can have differing effects on the body upon failure, depending on the form. Transmutation can disfigure or damage depending on what it was used on and what was done to it, while elemental can drain a caster of their mana reservoirs. Ah, yes. After all, it was, to my memory, just an oral writing done by his assistant, as you probably remember, Igor, Hans had lost his hands trying to earn the in trying to multiply them, to be exact. Anyway, off the bookshelves I go and right to the next book. Art of Ages by Fantasia Vexel. Of the 3 categories of magic, none are as exquisite and complex as spirit magic. Spirit magic is magic that works by a magician utilizing their mana in tandem with spirits of the power, or the power of the spirit world. Oh yes, Fantasia. I remember her watching. I remember hearing about her. A modern-day sorceress who has an extreme toxic level of devotion to this magic. Hey, Igor. Actually, I also hear she does not exactly like non-human races as well, so you might not want to meet her. I mean, it's kind of hard for you to get into her time. Anyway, spirit magic, while refined and perfected, is scattered in its numerous forms and techniques, of which the most common being summoning, otherwise known as conjuration. Conjuration works by calling forth an object or being via a spirit world, allowing for one to summon an ally for whatever purposes. Self-conjuration is also possible by summoning yourself to a waypoint of sorts, a method commonly known as teleportation. Yeah, that's spirit magic stigma for you. It's going to be frustrating reading through this. After all, she puts such a downcast on things. Reminds me of a certain toad-faced person. Spirit magic, in essence, is complex and selective, for only the experienced are able to perform its feats. And novices are to be mocked should they attempt and inevitably fail. Yeah, I don't like her views on life, but she knows her stuff. But no mocking. Alas, if such a mage were to attempt, they'd risk taking upon themselves severe damages. You see, while it isn't as physically risky as physical magic, its complexity and amount of mana it takes to perform can leave the user drained should they not be used to the stress of sorcery as a novice would be. While teachers and mentors of this category of magic are hard to find while on the road, they are plentiful at magical academies and universities, where lessons are in-depth and masterful, or not described well and completely failing in some cases. It should be also noted that not every spirit will obey a magician's command. Quite a few will either just ignore their summoner, and a rare group might even turn on their master and attack. One must be prepared for such occasions, even though human magic are far stronger than some pathetic abomination. Yeah, like I said, she doesn't like non-humans. Oh, don't kill me for that. Wait, you can't. I'm freaking immortal. Yeah. Even with its superiority, spirit magic is in most forms considered dark and twisted by the general public, so a practical magician should be wary and only use such power under duress or in a safe location, such as the academies. And the reason for that is that necromancy as you can see behind you with all the skulls and whatnot over there, is actually among spirit magic. And I swear, these foxes are getting on my nerves. But either way, on to Arcane Volition by Cormac Hayden. On Hollow Magic, actually. It's an interesting subject. You might actually like this, Igor. Considering... Are you some more of them? This room's filling with them.
No.
When it comes to magic, no category is more vital, yet mocked, than Hollow Magic. Hollow Magic, at its core, is the core category with the most forms, as it can range from potion making to enchantment to even magical barriers and healing. As the name implies, Hollow Magic is the most widespread category. This is because, unlike the other categories, it doesn't depend on the mage for their ability to use it in form of birthright, but rather the equipment they use, mana, and pure skill. That's right. Anyone with a proper training can use Hollow Magic, usually several forms. It is the only known category that doesn't require a person to dedicate to the life of a sorcerer, hence the name. It is a magic that isn't partial, a hollow magic. How this form usually works is that a user uses magic energy to perform whatever they attempt, or use resources and equipment to do so. Most overlook it as a category of parlor tricks, when it can be vital to a person's survival. Even if Hollow Magic can be split into 5 different forms: energy-based, defensive, restorative, material-based, and illusion. Energy-based Hollow Magic works by using mana for the task, such as magic circles and magical energy cannons, with crystals being catalysts for the energy. Defensive magic is a form that involves defense-based tactics and techniques performed usually through the use of mana. A few examples being barriers, counterspells, and magic armor. Illusion magic, as it sounds, the use of magic to alter a target's perception in some way, in shape or form. Material-based magic works by using materials at one's disposal to perform a task, such as potion making, rune stones, grimoires, and etc. Restorative magic is any form of healing magic non-spirit related, and doesn't need a potion. Most materials needed can be found either in nature, for monsters, or in magic shops. Most cities and villages have at least one shop or merchant that sells magical supplies. You just have to know where. And we're almost done, and there's even more foxes. Igor? If all these foxes aren't out of here by the time I finish this book, I'm going to send them back to where you keep sending them from. I warned you. Onto this. The cover reads it as The Darkest Evil by This book seems to be charred and in tatters. The darkest of all known magic, necromancy is a forbidden type of spirit magic, where the caster uses magic to resurrect a dead body, and in most cases bending it to do their bid. It works by using dark magic to corrupt either the mind, body, and or soul. As I write this, I have escaped the prisons of renegade magi practicing necromancy, and have witnessed the processes extensively. I write this in a record what I saw, and inform readers of the dangers of such magic and sorceries. The process can be described as morbid at best. It starts by subjecting the victim to dark magic to mutate the body. Then as the victim undergoes minor changes, body is left to rot and mutate further, while the soul is removed and corrupted further over in the next steps. If they live, the soul is corrupted while it's in the body through torture and dark magic. If they die from this, they follow the same steps as those who died from step 1. If they survive out of step 2, they are either mutated to a point of being unrecognizable as human, or rather more as an animal that resembles a large bull and fears rabbits for unknown reasons, or they are trying to escape priests that directly serve some higher corrupts and act to corrupt others. If they die in a previous form after the soul's corruption, it is returned into the body, resulting in a varying decay or transformation. This results in the creation of either a zombie, skeleton, zombie walker, wither skeleton, or, if the soul hasn't been returned, a husk. If the soul isn't returned to the body, it becomes a vex. Of necromancy, there is not much more I know of that occurs, other than what I have spoken and that they're making others capable of It seems that several pages have been torn out or appear chilled. And that, well, to say the least, they're not exactly I've warned you, Igor! And now, I shall return them. Vanish! That is what you get for summoning so many foxes. I swear, you clean this up while I go deal with returning our visitors on their way out. I really am sorry for what Igor and his mess regardless. But now you've both heard of the might of magic and even seen it in action. Either way, this is probably our end of the visit. I must return Igor to his time. And well, yeah. Oh. And about the necromancy book, don't worry about it. It was written a decent chunk after Igor's time. I mean, before it, at least. I'm an idiot. Yeah, sometimes. Even with my mistresses of the powers. Anyway, have a good day, human visitors, and I do hope you have a nice trip. Get back to wherever you come from. Good day. And goodbye.